Swift's Red era. The Red album was originally released on October 22nd, 2012 with a lead single of We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together, and it was re-recorded and re-released on November 21st, 2021 with a lead single of All Too Well 10-minute version. All Too Well is said to be one of the first songs she wrote for the Red album, and she had been hinting at a 10-minute version of the song for many years and finally gave it to us on the re-recorded version. The Red album has often been criticized for not being sonically cohesive, but Taylor Swift has stated that this is a metaphor for how messy a real breakup is. Alongside her country sound, she also had pop tracks, and this was her first time working with producers Max Martin and Shellback. Up until the Tortured Post department, Taylor Swift has been quoted saying that this was her only true breakup album. Fans speculate that many of the songs on this album are focusing on her relationship with Jake Gyllenhaal, but she also likely explores her brief relationship with Connor Kennedy, relationship to fame in the song The Lucky One, and many believe Harry Styles is discussed. Here's 5 things to know about Taylor Swift's State of Grace. The song was solely written by Taylor Swift and originally produced by Nathan Chapman, but when it was re-recorded, it was produced by Christopher Rowe. Many speculate that this song is about her relationship with Jake Gyllenhaal, pointing to the lines twin fire signs and 4 blue eyes. Obviously, both have blue eyes, and both were Sagittariuses. This opening track sets up the theme for the whole album, talking about this unexpected love and falling in love with this person for the first time, with lyrics, I never saw you coming and I'll never be the same, talking about how this love was very unexpected and how it changed her forever. She opens the track with I'm walking fast through the traffic lights, busy streets, and busy lives. She has often related relationships to a traffic light situation. You see this later in Lover with the lyrics on Holy Ground, took off faster than a green light, go. She has stated that her favorite lyrics on the song are love is a ruthless game unless you play it good and right. She says it almost serves as the perfect kind of warning label for the rest of the record. She says as soon as you hear that song, you know it's like there's only 2 ways this could go. Here's 5 things to know about Taylor Swift's song, Red. This song is solely written by Taylor Swift and was originally produced by Dan Huff and Nathan Chapman, but when it was re-recorded, it was produced by Christopher Rowe. Taylor Swift has stated that she named the album Red based off of all the emotions she was feeling at the time that she associated with the color red, saying intense love, intense frustration, jealousy, confusion. This song acts on a reflection on a relationship after it is over, opening with the lines, loving him is like driving a new Maserati down a dead-end street, and closing with them, talking about how this was a very strong, powerful, passionate love that was doomed to end. She also has the lyrics like the colors in autumn so bright just before they lose it all. She also references autumn in the song All Too Well, which is believed to be about Jake Gyllenhaal. In the bridge, there are the lyrics, remembering him comes in flashbacks and echoes, but moving on from him is impossible and I still see it all in my head in burning red. She also references not being able to forget or move on in the song All Too Well. Here's 5 things to know about Taylor Swift's Treacherous. The song was written and produced with Dan Wilson. While there's been much speculation on who this song may be about, there are references to both other songs on Red and 1989 within the song. In talking about this song, she said, I tend to feel like when you're looking back on the things that have hurt you in life, I look back on them and think if it made you feel something, it was worth it. Coincidentally, the secret message for this song was won't stop till it's over. Many have pointed out that this is one of the first instances in her discography where she refers to something of a sexual nature with the lyrics, I'll do anything you say if you say it with your hands. In discussing the bridge with the lyrics, 2 headlights shine through the sleepless night and I will get you alone, your name has echoed through my mind. In the bridge, she has the lyrics, 2 headlights shine through the sleepless night, and you can see this imagery echoed in songs such as The Last Time, I Wish You Would, and Style. But you can also see a reference to All Too Well 10-minute version with the lyrics, all we are is skin and bone, trained to get along. Here are 5 things to know about Taylor Swift's song, I Knew You Were Trouble. This song was originally written and produced with Martin and Shellback, but when it was re-recorded, it was produced with Christopher Rowe and Shellback. Taylor Swift has said this song is about ignoring red flags, and in an interview with MTV, she said, it's a song about kind of being frustrated with yourself because you have your heart broken, and you knew when you first saw that person you saw all those red flags, and you just went for it anyway, so shame on me. Obviously in the bridge, she says, shame on me now. The secret message for this song was, when you saw me dancing, and this could be a reference to the All Too Well lyric, dancing in the refrigerator light. Many have speculated who this song could be about. Many believe it to be about Harry Styles, it could be about Joe Jonas, Jake Gyllenhaal, or John Mayer. If we're sticking with the All Too Well train, the lyrics in the song, and he's long gone when he's next to me, could also be a reference to the All Too Well lyrics, and I know it's long gone and there's nothing else I could do. But it's really up to interpretation. Here's 5 things to know about Taylor Swift's All Too Well Bite-Sized. This song was written with Liz Rowe and originally produced by Nathan Chapman, but when it was re-recorded, it was produced with Christopher Rowe. The secret message for this song was Maple Latte, and if you know anything about it, Taylor Swift was famously seen out and about with Jake Gyllenhaal with a maple latte. This is said to be the first song that was written for the album, and it was written while on the Speak Now tour. In an interview, she said, "The lyric I'm most proud of is from All Too Well, and you can call me up again just to break me like a promise, so casually cruel in the name of being honest. That was something I came up with while ranting during a sound check. I was just playing these chords over and over on stage, and my band joined in, and I went on a rant." And one of the most famous lyrics from this song, "And I left my scarf there at your sister's house." This could be a reference to Jake's sister, Maggie Gyllenhaal, but in an interview she did say that this was a metaphor and it wasn't a real scarf. The lyrics, "Time won't fly, it's like I'm paralyzed by it," can see similar sentiments in songs Red, State of Grace, and Sad Beautiful Tragic. Here's 5 things to know about Taylor Swift's 22. This song was originally written and produced with Martin and Shellback, but for the re-recording, Martin didn't come back, and it was reproduced with Christopher Rowe. In describing the themes of this song to Billboard, Taylor Swift said, "It describes the possibilities of how you're still learning, but you know enough. That brings about a carefree feeling that is sort of based on indecision and fear, and at the same time letting loose." From All Too Well Timid version, we know that Taylor Swift's 21st birthday was not a great time with lyrics, and he said it's supposed to be fun turning 21, so 22 following directly after All Too Well could be an escape or move on from that sad 21-year-old phase. The secret message for 22 was Ashley, Diana, Claire, and Selena, which represents 4 of Taylor's best friends from the time. Obviously, Selena Gomez still remains a good friend. In the post-chorus of the song, she says, "You look like bad news, I gotta have you," which could reference her tendency to seek out the bad boy, which she talks about in I Knew You Were Trouble, and Treacherous. Here's 5 things to know about Taylor Swift's I Almost Do. This is a solo-written song, and it was originally produced with Nathan Chapman, but for the re-recording, it was produced by Christopher Rowe. The secret message for the song was, "Wrote this instead of calling." Taylor Swift stated that I Almost Do is a song I wrote about the conflict that you feel when you want to take someone back and you want to give it another try, but you know you can't. I think I needed to write this song in order to not call that person, actually. The opening lines of this song are, "I bet this time of night you're still up. I bet you're tired from a long, hard week. I bet you're sitting in your chair by the window looking out at the city. And I bet sometimes you wonder about me." Obviously, this could parallel the Vault track song, "I Bet You Think About Me," with all the repetition of "I bet." In the bridge, she says, "Oh, we made quite a mess, babe. It's probably better off this way." And in the song Better Man, "I know I'm probably better off on my own than loving a man who didn't know what he had when he had it." These could also be parallels. Here's 5 things to know about Taylor Swift's We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together. This song was originally written and produced with Martin and Shellback, but upon re-recording, Max Martin didn't come back and Christopher Rowe produced. According to Taylor Swift, this song was written after a friend of an ex had walked in and said, "I heard that you were getting back together," and, the rest is history. The secret message for the song was, "When I stopped caring about what you thought." You can see parallels in the lyrics of this song with the lyrics of I Bet You Think About Me. In this one, she says, "When you said you needed space, what?" And in I Bet You Think About Me, she says, "Do you have all that space that you need?" In discussion on this song, she said, "There are some references to being cooler than me, indie records, hipsters, and stuff like that. All of that is a reference to that relationship that made me feel very insecure." And with the line, "With some indie record that's much cooler than mine," you can also see this paralleled on songs such as Begin Again and I Bet You Think About Me. Here's 5 things to know about Taylor Swift's Stay, Stay, Stay. The song was solo written by Taylor Swift and originally produced by Nathan Chapman, but when it was re-recorded, it was produced by Christopher Rowe. The secret message for this song was daydreaming about real love. Taylor Swift has said about this song that in the bridge it says, "I'd like to hang out with you for my whole life," and I think that's probably the key to finding the one, is you just want to hang out with them forever. In the chorus, she says, "You think it's funny when I'm mad," and she talks a lot about a partner not finding her funny. On this album, you can particularly think about it in the lines in Begin Again where it says, "I think it's strange that you think I'm funny, 'cause he never did." In the bridge, she also says, "You took the time to memorize me," and in contrast on her song Red, she says memorizing him was as easy as knowing all the words to your old favorite song. So in this song, he is memorizing her, and in the other song, she was memorizing him. Presumably about 2 different people. Here's 5 things to know about Taylor Swift's The Last Time. This song was written by Taylor Swift, Gary Lightbody, and Jackknife Lee, and it was also produced by Lee, who is also part of Snow Patrol. The secret message for the song was LA on your break. The song is speculated to be about Jake Gyllenhaal, and Taylor Swift has said about writing the song, it was about an unreliable lover. She said, "You never know when he's going to leave, you never know when he's going to come back, but he always does come back." And it's a really fragile emotion you're dealing with when you want to love someone, but you don't know if it's smart to. In the chorus and the outro, she repeats, "This is the last time I'm asking you this," which is similar to a line on the song Babe, which says, "This is the last time I'll ever call you, babe." In the song, they are both imagining a scenario where one of them is up home late waiting for the other, and this also mirrors the lines in I Almost Do that says, I bet this time of night you're still up, I bet you're tired from a long hard week. And I bet you're sitting in your chair by the window looking out at the city, and I bet sometimes you wonder about me. Here's 5 things to know about Taylor Swift's Holy Ground. This song was solo written by Taylor Swift and it was produced by Jeff Bhasker. The secret message for the song was when you came to the show in SD, this could be a reference to when her ex Joe Jonas came to her Speak Now tour show date in San Diego. In reference to Joe Jonas, in her song on Speak Now and Last Kiss, she says, I'm not much for dancing, but for you I did. And in the bridge of this song, she says, tonight I'm gonna dance for all that we've been through, but I don't want to dance if I'm not dancing with you. We know that she is thinking about a past relationship because she opens the song with the lyrics, I was reminiscing just the other day while having coffee all alone and Lord, it took me away, talking about thinking about a past relationship, aka reminiscing on the good days. Holy Ground obviously evokes some religious imagery, and it's not the first time she uses this on this album. She also opens the album up with the song State of Grace, which also is another religious reference. Here's 5 things to know about Taylor Swift's Sad, Beautiful, Tragic. This song was solo written by Taylor Swift and originally produced by Nathan Chapman, but when it was re-recorded, it was produced with Christopher Rowe and Paul Merkovich. The secret message for this song was while you were on a train. You can see this illustrated in lyrics, I stood right by the tracks, your face unlock it, and the opening sounds for the song are supposed to sound like a train. In talking about the song, she said, Sad, Beautiful, Tragic was a song that I wrote while I was on tour. I was on a tour bus that was moving, and I just started playing this really haunting, sad chorus, and it was very simple. What a sad, beautiful, tragic love affair. It was just reflecting on something that was lost, and you can't get it back. This song has many lyrical parallels to other songs on the album, with lyrics such as In My Dreams I Meet You Warm Conversation are similar to An Unconfessed Baby, In My Dreams You're Touching My Face, in I Almost Do. And the lyrics in Time Is Taking Its Sweet Time Erasing You are similar to the All Too Well lyrics, Time Won't Fly, it's like I'm paralyzed by it. Most are speculated to be about Jake Gyllenhaal. Here's 5 things to know about Taylor Swift's The Lucky One. This is a solo written track and it was produced by Jeff Bhasker. The secret message for this song was, wouldn't you like to know? I've heard speculation around this song being about Joni Mitchell, but who really knows? This is one of the first time that Taylor Swift really opens up about her relationship to fame in a song with lyrics such as, and your lover in the foyer doesn't even know you, and your secrets end up splashed on the news front page, alluding to the fact that all of her relationships and her entire dating life is constantly scrutinized by the public and media. And the lyrics and all the young things line up to take your place often mirror the message of the vault track Nothing New, and you can kind of see this explored later on in the song Clara Bow from Tortured Poets Department, which she mashed up with this song on the Eras tour. She flips the subject of the song in the bridge from an unknown person to herself in the lyrics, and it took some time, but I understand it now, because now my name is up in lights, which she similarly does on songs such as The Last Great American Dynasty, and so on. Here's 5 things to know about Taylor Swift's Everything Has Changed, featuring Ed Sheeran. This song was written by Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran, and it was produced by Butch Walker. The secret message for this song was Hyannis Port. We get a few callbacks to other Red songs in this one, with the lyrics, and all I've seen since 18 hours ago is green eyes and freckles on your smile, is similar to the vault track Message in a Bottle, where she says, I became hypnotized by freckles and bright eyes. In the outro, she says, all I know is a newfound grace, which could be a callback to State of Grace, which was about a relationship that ended poorly, and this one is talking about a beginning to a new, happier relationship. Fun fact, the kids who were in the Everything Has Changed music video also came back for Taylor and Ed's collab music video for The Joker and the Queen. Here's 5 things to know about Taylor Swift's Starlight. This was a solo written track and it was originally produced by Nathan Chapman and Dan Huff, but the new producers on the re-recording were Christopher Rowe and Paul Merkovich. The secret message for this song was for Ethel, and the lore goes that Taylor Swift wrote this song after seeing a picture of Ethel and Bobby Kennedy having a night out, and she imagined what that night would be like. You can see her weave in the story of the 1940s with things such as Marvelous Tune, Dressed to the Nines, all these 1940s, popular idioms. She specifically references Bobby Kennedy in the lyrics, I met Bobby on the boardwalk, summer of 45. In the bridge, she says, have 10 kids and teach them how to dream. Obviously, Ethel and Bobby Kennedy ended up having 10 kids. And if you're wondering, she was dating Connor Kennedy at the time, and these are his grandparents. Here's 5 things about Taylor Swift's Begin Again. This is a solo written song that was originally produced by Dan Huff and Nathan Chapman, but when it was re-recorded, it was solely produced by Christopher Rowe. The secret message for this song was I wear heels now, which is a reference to one of the opening lyrics, he didn't like it when I wore high heels, but I do. According to Taylor Swift, it's actually a song about kind of when you've gotten through a really bad relationship and you finally dust yourself off and go on that first date after a horrible breakup and the vulnerability that goes with all of that. We see callbacks in many lyrics, such as he always said he didn't get this song, but I do. And in We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together, she says you would hide away and find your peace of mind with some indie record that's much cooler than mine. She specifically told Taste of Country in 2012 that I'd get nothing from the sex but eye rolls from listening to the music I like. It was a big point of contention in that relationship. And I think it's strange that you think I'm funny because he never did calls back to I Bet You Think About Me with Rolled Your Eyes at My Jokes. And All Too Well 10 was And I Was Never Good at Telling Jokes. Here's 5 things about Taylor Swift's Better Man. This is a song that was solo written during the Red era, but it was given to Little Big Town to perform originally, and it was originally produced by Jay Joyce. But for the re-recording, she came back and sang the song as well as produced it with Aaron Dessner. According to Taylor, she said, I was on tour and I wrote it alone in a hotel room, and I remember standing in front of a mirror. I think the first thing I thought of was, I wish it wasn't 4 a.m., standing in a mirror saying to myself, you know you had to do it. That was an actual visual from my life that ended up being the first thing I wrote, and then I expanded outward from there. This song does have many parallels to other Red tracks with lyrics such as, I know I'm probably better off on my own. In I Almost Do, she says, oh, we made quite a mess, babe, it's probably better off this way. She also says, talking down to me like I'd always be around. She talks about how her partner talked down to her and criticized her in many other songs, including I Bet You Think About Me and All Too Well. The lyrics, I know the bravest thing I ever did was run, can be seen referenced again in It's Time to Go with the lyrics, sometimes to run is the brave thing. Here's 5 things to know about Taylor Swift's Nothing New, featuring Phoebe Bridgers. This is a solo-written song and it was produced with Aaron Dessner. About this song, Taylor Swift wrote in the Lover Journals, I've been thinking a lot about getting older and relevancy and how all my heroes have all ended up alone. I wrote a song on it called Nothing New, and it's about being scared of aging and things changing and losing what you have. They tell you while you're young. In verse 2, Phoebe says, how long will it be cute all this crying in my room when you can't blame it on my youth and roll your eyes with affection? Taylor Swift has said, the second I became a woman in people's perception was when I started seeing the sexism in the music industry. It's fine to infantilize a girl's success and say how cute that she's having some hit songs, how cute that she's writing songs, but the second it becomes formidable, as soon as I started playing stadiums, when I started to look like a woman, that wasn't as cool anymore. The lyrics, and someone else lights up the room, can be a callback to The Lucky One, and another name goes up in lights. In the outro, she says, but I wonder if they'll miss me when they drive me out, and Taylor talks a lot about this topic in Miss Americana documentary. Here's 5 things to know about Taylor Swift's Babe. This song was written with Pat Monahan and originally performed with Sugarland and produced by Christian Bush, Jennifer Nettles, Julian Raymond, but when it was re-recorded, it was just performed by Taylor Swift and produced with Jack Antonoff. And the repeated line, what about your promises, promises, was added in for the re-recording. This could be a throwback to All Too Well. Another throwback to All Too Well with the lyrics, I'm here on the kitchen floor, you call, but I won't hear it. Obviously in All Too Well, she says, we're dancing around the kitchen in the refrigerator light, you call me up again just to break me like a promise. In the chorus, she repeats, this is the last time I'll ever call you babe. Obviously, this is a recall to the last time, which is, this is the last time I'm asking you this. In the bridge, she says, since you admitted it, I keep picturing it, her lips on your neck, I can't unsee it, and she talks about her experience with someone cheating on her in the lyrics of Girl at Home, where she says, and yeah, I might go with it if I hadn't once been just like her. Here's 5 things to know about Taylor Swift's Message in a Bottle. This song was written with Martin and Shellback, and it was produced by Elvira and Shellback. This was the first ever song that Taylor Swift wrote with Martin and Shellback. Taylor made mention of a message in bottle on the Red Tour in a speech where she said, writing a song is kind of like saying whatever you wanted to say to the person, whatever you wanted to say the most, and then being able to push pause on the moment and not have to see that person's response. So it's like putting a message in a bottle and writing whatever you wanted to say. And lyrics in verse 1, and I became hypnotized by freckles and bright eyes, are similar to lyrics on Everything Has Changed. All I've seen since 18 hours ago is green eyes and freckles and your smile. The lyrics in the bridge of this song, How's It in London, are similar to the lyrics in the bridge of Come Back Be Here, I guess you're in London today and I don't want to need you this way. Here's 5 things to know about I Bet You Think About Me by Taylor Swift featuring Chris Stapleton. This song did act as the second release of Red Taylor's version, and it was written with Lori McKenna, and it was produced with Aaron Dessner. According to Taylor Swift, she said, we wanted this song to be like a comedic, tongue-in-cheek, funny, not caring what anyone thinks about you sort of breakup song. This song parallels many songs on the Red album, including All Too Well 10-minute version. For example, in verse 2, she says, well, I tried to fit in with your upper crust circles. Yeah, they let me sit in back when we were in love. This parallels a scene in the All Too Well 10-minute version music video where the character of younger Taylor is sitting in at a dinner party with the male love interest. And the lyrics, and you and I felt like an early spring snow, mimic the lyrics in All Too Well 10 with, 'cause in the city's bare and cold, I still remember the first fall of snow. She also calls back to Mr. Perfectly Fine on Fearless with the lyrics, Mr. Superior Thinkin'. In the outro, she says, "At your cool indie music concerts every week," which is a callback to We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together. Here's 5 things about Taylor Swift's Forever Winter. This song was written with Mark Foster and produced with Jack Antonoff. This song explores her worry over losing a friend who is struggling with mental health issues. You can see this worry exemplified in verse 2 with the lyrics, "I pull at every thread trying to solve the puzzles in his head. Live my life scared to death, he'll decide to leave instead." She explores this once again in the chorus where she says, "I'd fall to pieces on the floor if you weren't around. Too young to know it gets better, I'll be summer sun for you forever." She's saying no matter what, no matter how hard it gets, she'll always try and be a sunshine or a happiness in their life. Furthermore, she expands upon this in the bridge where she says, "If I was standing there in your apartment, I'd take that bomb in your head and disarm it," saying that if she could, she would go in and she would take away all that troubles this person. Here's 5 things to know about Taylor Swift's Run featuring Ed Sheeran. This song was written with Ed Sheeran and produced with Aaron Dessner. You can see callbacks to many songs on Red and other albums as well. The lyrics, "There's a key on the chain, there's a picture in a frame," can be a callback to "And you were tossing me the car keys, fuck the patriarchy keychain on the ground" in All Too Well 10. And the lyrics in the note from the lock, "You keep it in your pocket," call back to the sad, beautiful, tragic lyrics, "Long handwritten note deep in your pocket." During the Red re-recording era, she was likely in the process of writing Folklore and Evermore, and you can see this reflected in some of the lyrics on the Folklore and Evermore album. So in Run, she says, "And my so-called friends, they don't know." And in 'Tis the Damn Season from Evermore, she says, "So I'll go back to LA and the so-called friends." In Run, she also says, "So give me a reason and don't say no." And in Hoax from Folklore, she says, "Stood on the cliffside screaming, give me a reason." Here's 5 things to know about Taylor Swift's The Very First Night. This song was written with Amund Björklund and Espen Lind and produced by Espionage, Tim Blacksmith, and Danny D. Sorry if I mispronounced anyone's name. This song has lines that call back to many songs in her discography. For example, in verse 1 she says, "And so it goes," which is a phrase she's repeated in Style, You Are in Love, and the song So It Goes. The lyrics, "I drive down different roads, but they all lead back to you," call back to the lyrics on The Last Time, "I'm not sure how I got there, all roads they lead me here." She also does something similar on the song 'Tis the Damn Season. In the pre-chorus, she says, "Didn't read the note on the Polaroid picture," which she mentions Polaroids in Out of the Woods, and New Year's Day and also Polaroids were a big theme of the 1989 era. In verse 2, she says, "We were built to fall apart," which she also repeats in the song Out of the Woods, where it says, "We were built to fall apart, then fall back together." Here's 5 things about Taylor Swift's All Too Well 10-minute version. This song was written with Liz Rose and produced by Jack Antonoff. I do have a solo video on just All Too Well, so go check that for other context. This song is widely believed to be about her ex, Jake Gyllenhaal, and it has many parallels with other songs on the Red album. For example, in the lyrics, "You said if we had been closer in age, maybe it would have been fine." During the time that she dated Jake Gyllenhaal, she was 20 and he was 29, and they broke up at 21 and 30. You can also see this age difference reflected in the All Too Well short film. And the lyrics, "Not weeping in a party bathroom," and he said it's supposed to be fun, turning 21, call back to the song The Moment I Knew with lyrics such as, "And there in the bathroom I try not to fall apart," and "They're all around me singing happy birthday to you." And lyrics, "I was never good at telling jokes," references back to Begin Again with the lyrics, "I think it's strange to think I'm funny cause he never did," and "I bet you think about me, you laughed at my dreams, rolled your eyes at my jokes." And "Did the twin flame bruise paint you blue," calls back to State of Grace with twin fire signs.